There are 6 fitness truths that 95% of people get dead wrong. And listen, they're quietly sabotaging your results. We're going to talk about them right now. Let's get to it.
Ooh, dead wrong.
So these are the top 6 fitness truths, or should I say myths, right? We're going to talk about what the truth is, but these are the myths that people still believe that really messes them up. And I'll start with the first one, which is you don't need to train 5 or 6 days a week to build muscle or get jacked or get strong. Not only do you not need to do that, but most people doing that would get worse results than if they strength trained maybe 3 days a week or 2 days a week.
Yeah, so this is still a common thought, I guess. It's just the more is better. And I mean, we're always talking about, overtraining is one of those things. And two, we kind of have a little bit of a bias because of the type of person that's listening to the podcast already, that's an avid lifter.
Sure.
But like the common sense, like I've talked to a few of my friends even still, and they think that 6 days a week is going to get you to move the needle the most.
It's the confusion around what you can tolerate versus what is ideal.
Right.
And I always talk about why this is so difficult is because it's really the only thing I can think of that we deal with that more doesn't serve us. Mm-hmm. You know, the more you study for a test, the more you work hard at your job, the more you push your education, like rewards us for doing more. And unfortunately, when it comes to body composition change, losing body fat, building muscle, more is not. There's a right dose. There's an optimal dose. There's a less optimal dose, and then there's a bad dose. Mm-hmm. And it's a spectrum. And unfortunately, more people tend to go at the ends of the spectrum. They either do nothing,
right,
and then they decide to do something, and they do everything they can tolerate or handle, thinking that that's going to get them to their goal faster. When in reality, they land somewhere in the middle of that spectrum is what would be optimal or ideal. And for most people, that's about 3 times a week.
Yeah, and for most people. So people get confused with the difference between working out and being active. So I think that's part of it.
Oh, yeah.
We're told that we need to be active on a daily basis, which is true. You need to move on a daily basis. If you work out 2 or 3 days a week, that doesn't mean that you're not trying to move on the other days. And you could accomplish that through walking or other types of activity. Basically, just don't be sitting for most of the day, which is what most people these days tend to do. So that's number one. So what we're talking about is a workout. We're talking about training. We're talking about strength training. And strength training is all it's doing is it's sending a signal it's telling your body to adapt. But part of that signal is sent, or a lot of that signal is sent because of the stress that the exercise or the workout is applying on your body. And your body has a limited capacity for adaptation and for healing. And so, and by the way, they're both, although there's a crossover there, part of the healing process from damage, for lack of a better term, from exercise is adapting, but adapting is also separate. In other words, you can work out and heal and work out and heal and work out and heal, but never give your body the ability or chance to adapt.
You're not going to progress.
Right. Adapting is getting stronger. Adapting is building muscle. Now, the data on this is very interesting, okay? On healthy college-aged males, that's what 99% of these studies are done on healthy college-aged males. Here's what they find. 3 days a week of strength training will give you 85% of every possible result you could ever wish to accomplish from strength training. In other words, think of the peak strength, peak muscle building benefits or end result you could accomplish. 85% of that could be accomplished with just 3 days a week.
Which, by the way, is normally way beyond what most people even want.
It's way beyond it, and it doesn't mean you get there slower. That's the potential.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you get there 85% slower. It just means that's your ultimate potential. But here's the other problem. We're looking at, when you look at studies like this, healthy college-aged males. Yeah. Most people who start strength training, number one, are not healthy. They're out of shape. They're just starting to work out. Number two, they're not college-aged. They have other stressors. And so 2 or 3 days a week becomes ideal. And more than that, doesn't get them more results. It actually takes away from them. In fact, 90% of the time when we talk to people, listeners of the show or callers, or we work with clients who are like, hey, I've been working out 5 days a week in the gym and I'm struggling. We cut them down to 3 days a week. They all get better results.
Yeah. Like every time, it's so crazy to me. Even when we put them on like less volume, like a 15-minute protocol, it blows their mind because there's just this thought, again, to your point of like everything else works that way. You put more work in, you get more return from that. But we just don't account for recovery as being like a massive lever in this entire process. And so to space that out and allow your body to really not just heal, because then we're not making any progress. We're kind of at the same spot, but now adapt. And so to have that, it's really a science to it that people disregard.
Well, and if you're listening and you're already somebody who's training 6 days a week, also, and Sal said this, but I just want to reiterate this, that when we move people from 6 days a week down to 3 days, it's not like we say those other 3 days sit on your couch and do nothing.
Yeah.
It's
Still
like,
be active.
Yeah, be active. In fact, what normally we end up doing for someone who's already been training 5-6 days, it's like we just replace that hour of training in the gym with walking. It's like go walk, be active.
Walk, do mobility.
Yeah, do stuff to be active. We're not telling somebody who's already got momentum and in the gym 6 days a week, and it's like, oh, you need to stop training and eliminate 3 days and do nothing. It's that's more than enough of a stress signal from weightlifting to build muscle and to lose body fat.
Right.
You don't need any more. So let's do this 3 days a week, and then the other 2 or 3 days a week, let's do this other thing that's more recuperative.
Mobility, like, or walking.
Mobility, walking, things like that. Maybe yoga, depending on the person, right? Those types of practices will probably better serve 90+% of the population that is trying to get in shape.
That's right. Next, this is another fitness truth. Cardio is not the best way to lose fat, and especially not the best way to lose fat long term. As a form of exercise, cardiovascular activity is healthy. It boosts endurance and stamina, does those things very, very well. But it is actually not an effective way to lose fat, especially when you compare it to another form of exercise known as strength training. So in the data, and they've compared them head to head, everybody, okay? So it's not like this is us guessing or just based off our experience. When you look at the data, when people are on a restricted calorie diet, one that induces weight loss, and they combine it with exercise, strength training results in all fat loss. Cardio results in fat and muscle loss. So the weight on the scale actually is similar. So the weight loss looks similar. Cardio will actually help induce muscle loss, which your body wants to do when you're in a sub-calorie diet. Strength training keeps the muscle. So to say it differently, the best form of exercise for fat loss, just pure fat loss, strength training. A lot of people think it's cardio because cardio makes you sweat, and it does indeed burn a lot of calories.
It shrinks your overall mass down to that point. So that's misleading for a lot of people because they get excited about the weight on the scale.
Right.
But however, we haven't teased out how much fat and actual muscle you've lost as well.
Do you guys think, I feel like this is getting better, the messaging around
Totally.
this? Like,
We've been hammering this for 10 years.
There.
Yeah, I remember when we first came out, we did this. In fact, this was some of our first viral clips and episodes that we did, almost 10 years ago, where we said things like cardio sucks for fat loss. And oh boy, we would just rile everybody up.
Many people would be in the comments.
Oh yeah, that one used to piss everybody off. And then we'd have to go and explain what we're talking about. I do feel like I see more fitness influencers preaching this message now, which it wasn't until just not that long ago that I think you heard this. I think it was still known as a good strategy for this.
The best evidence for this, for what you're saying, I've observed the same thing, Adam, but you're like, okay, where are the objective? Is this objectively true, or is this just us noticing what we're noticing? The best evidence of this is the footprint of big box gyms now is changing.
Sure.
So the number one goal that somebody has when they sign up at a gym is fat loss. That's everybody's goal. Weight loss, fat loss, right? Everybody wants to do that. And so now the big box gyms, what the footprint used to look like was a majority of the space was dedicated to cardio equipment because everybody wanted weight loss, everybody wanted fat loss, so it's lots of cardio. The footprints are changing. They're swapping out cardio space for strength training space. So yes, the message is starting to come out.
That's a good point.
And the data does support it. Next up, your metabolism isn't broken. It has more to do with your habits. Now, I do want to say this, like you can have a metabolic rate that's making it more difficult. Your metabolism adapts to your behaviors, but it's not broken. A broken metabolism literally would mean that you die.
Yeah.
It would mean that your body doesn't work. So metabolism is a word that encompasses a lot of complex processes in the body. And to put it very simply, it's how your body takes food and turns it into usable energy and what it does with that energy. Okay, and that's a very super ultra simplified definition. but it's very, very complex. And your metabolism can adapt in different directions. You can encourage your metabolism to speed up, to burn more calories. You can encourage your metabolism to slow down or to burn less calories. And unfortunately, a lot of people's attempts at weight loss really don't take this into consideration. And what they experience is a metabolism that adapts downward, which results in a really frustrating plateau. And it typically looks like this, like I want to lose 20 pounds or 30 pounds. I lose 10 pounds because I'm doing all this activity, I'm doing all this cardio, I'm cutting my calories, and I've lost 10, but now I'm stuck. And so then what do I do now? I know, let me do more activity and let me eat even less. And then they lose another 5 pounds. And then they're in this place where they're like, okay, I don't want to work out even more, and I can't eat even less. I'm already eating so little. How can I maintain this? My metabolism must be broken. No, it's not broken. The things you did encouraged it and pushed it to adapt downward. And now you're in a situation where you're fighting a very efficient metabolism, which is very, very difficult. We also have a brand new MAPS program, MAPS Upper Lower. It's a 4-day muscle building split. We have a male and female version. There's workout videos in there, exercise demos, coaching videos, and if you sign up during the launch period, you get it for 40% off, plus you get some live coaching with our personal trainer, Cole, here at Mind Pump. Go sign up. Go to mapsupperlower.com, use the code LAUNCH for the 40% off.
All right, real quick, if you love us like we love you, why not show it by rocking one of our shirts, hats, mugs, or training gear over at mindpumpstore.com. I'm talking right now. Hit pause, head on over to mindpumpstore.com. That's it. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah, I don't like this one because it implies like there's something wrong with you when in fact your metabolism is working great. It's doing exactly what you told it to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important to distinguish the difference between that, because you want to be at a place where you take responsibility for what it's doing. Otherwise, you won't learn from your mistakes, from what you've previously done. It's like, yeah, your metabolism is really slow, not because you genetically have a slow metabolism or it's broken. It's because for a period of time, you have continued to undereat calories, overtrain the body. And so it's adapted in a manner that is going to survive. And it's actually working really well to do that by slowing the metabolism down. The exciting thing is you can absolutely change that by creating different behaviors, which would be things like strength training, feeding the body properly, and building muscle, and change that. So it's a really positive thing, and your metabolism working incredibly well. But I do think that a lot of people, I don't know if that's a victim mindset that we tend to have, where it's like you want to defer the responsibility of like I'm overweight because
it's a confusion, too, and it's because things aren't working out. But you're not pointing to the fact that what you're presenting your body environment wise is what it's responding to. And so, if I'm burning an excess amount of calories, I'm not, eating enough. If I'm not strength training and then eating protein, I'm not sending that anabolic signal. I'm not telling, my body I need to, build up muscle to resist this force that I'm constantly facing. And this is like a habitual thing. I'm facing this. So now I'm facing the opposite, which is now I'm in a bit of famine. So now my body has to store this energy and preserve it. And it's doing what it's supposed to do.
No, well said. It's I get why people say this, because I think it's confusing because to them, all the evidence points in the direction of I've got a metabolism that doesn't work. Because before I was doing no exercise, and before I was eating all kinds of food. Yeah. Now I'm doing cardio 4 days a week for 45 minutes. Yeah. And I've cut my calories really low. I'm eating, frozen meals, or I'm eating on this plan, and I've lost this weight, but I've plateaued. And it's why can't I lose this last 15 pounds, this last 20 pounds?
Something must be broken.
And not only that, but does that mean I got to keep doing this for the rest? I got to eat this little and move this much to keep it off? Yeah. My metabolism must be broken, and it's not. So you can move in the other direction. The other direction looks like this: building strength, building muscle, eating a high protein diet. Okay, those things move the metabolic rate in the other direction, or at the very least prevent some of the downward adaptation that comes from a sub-calorie diet. All right, next up, protein timing matters way less than total daily intake. So sometimes there's a lot of emphasis, and I think this is supplement companies do this, and this was especially true back in the day, on when you needed to eat your protein and how important it was that you ate it, maybe around your workout and whatever. This makes a little difference, like a tiny difference. The total protein you eat for the day is what makes the big difference. This is like 99% of what you're going to get for protein. Now, protein timing matters in the sense that what helps you get your total protein intake to where it needs to. Yeah. That's when timing matters.
How you can digest it, synthesize it, all that. Yeah.
That's right.
I would make the case to it where it matters, and what we speak to is like, for example, it's obvious you're timing it when you decide to eat it first in your meal.
Exactly.
And so if it changes good behaviors.
Exactly.
Right. And so that's where this makes a difference. Timing it around a workout to hit the anabolic window to get the best muscle building effect from it was where this
supplement marketing.
Yeah, this doesn't matter. This is splitting hairs, the difference on this. But learning to target protein to start your day off with a good high protein meal. It's not doing anything magical other than it's going to it almost certainly set you up for success with hitting your protein versus you not. Like you skipping a meal or not hitting protein in the morning makes it difficult for that. So it's more behavioral based than it is what it's doing to your body scientifically.
That's right, 100%. Next up, flexibility work is useless if you're weak. You don't want to be weak and flexible. That causes problems. Yep. That's a risk, a high risk of injury. So mobility is a term that some people confuse mobility with flexibility. But the way we define mobility is having strength and control within a particular range of motion or a ideal range of motion. Flexibility without strength is loose and injury prone. Think of a 1-year-old. Like a 1-year-old, like you can bend them in all kinds of different directions, very weak. Put some weight on a 1-year-old, they hurt themselves. Hypermobility, which is a term that describes people with lots of flexibility without good strength. They're some of the most injury-prone people on the planet. And so if you're like, man, I'm tight, I need to go focus on being flexible, your best bet is to do strength training in good ranges of motion and challenge ranges of motion, increase those ranges of motion with strength, because strength is what gives you stability. The flexibility component without strength is instability.
Yeah, and to be fair, like mobility is considered strength training, which, it's active flexibility. There's active, passive flexibility, and I think those two, like some people don't know the difference between the two, and to really have that ownership and be able to recruit within certain ranges of motion and have it be useful. So, I can take myself out of these positions and, be active in recruiting these muscles in that position. That's valuable. And then, that's pretty much the precursor to then loading it. And then we're going to load it and we're going to get stronger in that position, which is, that's all the value. But flexibility itself, if you're not addressing that you're weak, you're leaving yourself vulnerable.
I think the most important point to be made to this right here is the person that I think of that still falls in this trap is somebody who has decided that they are going to make a change, get healthier, get fit, and they're midlife. They have some chronic pain and tightness and stiffness. And so their logic is, before I start to, I know I need a strength training, but before I do that, I think I'm going to take yoga classes and stretch and really work on my flexibility before I go lift weights. Because my hips already bother me, my low back already bothers me. But what they don't realize is a lot of that chronic pain is due to weakness and instability. And one of the best things to combat that would be to strength train. Strength train is going to build that strength, that stability, that resiliency. And so I think there is this myth that they need to go stretch and loosen up because they feel tight, stiff, and chronic pain first.
No, here's the truth. So a lot of people don't know this. The reason why your body gets tight, the reason why your shoulder gets tight or your hamstrings get tight or your hips feel tight is not because you have muscles that are like rubber bands that are cold that need to be stretched. That's not what's happening. Your central nervous system controls the flexibility of the muscles. If I rip the muscle off your body and placed it on a table, I'd be able to move it no problem. Your CNS, your central nervous system, is telling those muscles to stay tight to create stability.
Yep.
So when you're weak and you have instability because your muscles aren't strong enough to support particular ranges of motion, the CNS tightens the muscles up around those areas.
Activates.
And it keeps them tight. It doesn't let them move much. And that's where the tightness comes from. So tightness comes from weakness.
And that's also where a lot of the chronic pain comes from, is because that tightness ends up being tightness, and it's pulling on the hips, it's pulling on the back, it's pulling on the knee.
And then you can't move right.
Yeah. And so then you have this chronic pain, and most people interpret that as, oh, I have all these tight muscles and I have chronic pain. And so they sign up for yoga because that seems like the logical thing to do in that situation, when in reality, what you're saying is, no, it's because you're weak and unstable that you feel this way. And the best thing that we could possibly do is not sign up for a yoga class. It'd actually be go get strong lifting weights.
That's right.
And that will solve most of these problems.
That's right. And last, the real fountain of youth is not in a pill or a shake or a supplement. It's in the weight room. So all exercise done properly improves longevity and improves quality of life. And all the data supports this. So as you get older, if you stay active and you exercise versus your peers who maybe don't do those things, your quality of life is significantly higher. But among all of the forms of exercise, one of them really makes a big difference with this, and it's strength training. If we had to label a form of exercise as the fountain of youth, it's strength training. What happens as you get older? You lose muscle mass, you lose strength, you lose bone mass, you lose mobility and stability. You see people falling. You also get what's called insulin resistance, because so higher rates of things like diabetes, metabolic health starts to go down. One form of exercise directly combats that. Now, other forms of exercise help with all of that, but strength training directly combats that. How? It makes you stronger. So your muscles get stronger and they get a little bigger. Your bones get stronger as a result. You have improved insulin sensitivity because muscles are very insulin sensitive. You're less likely to fall because now you're stronger. And if you do fall, you're less likely to break something because things are much stronger. So strength training is the fountain of youth if we had to label a form of exercise.
Well, muscle is the organ of longevity.
That's right.
I love that. I love that because I think that's exactly what that represents. And so, yeah, lift weights. Don't focus so much on all the supplements and pills and shakes and the latest fad that's out there. Go to the gym 2-3 times a week, get strong, and you'll live longer.
That's right. So Adam, I was going to ask you, because you were just talking off air how you're using, we did a commercial a few weeks ago on Caldera Lab's Hydro Layer.
Yeah. So I didn't realize, I always feel guilty with that I wasn't using that. I was using the base layer, which they come in a similar bottle, and they're different.
Yeah. So the Hydro Layer is literally to improve moisture in the skin.
Yes. Really like it. Still love the base layer too, but it's like a thicker cream.
Yeah. It's more like a not a paste, but it's kind of like a creamy. Yeah. Whereas a Hydro Layer is like,
I know, it's so funny listening to us try and talk about men's face cream and stuff like that. Like, you can tell. I mean, you can tell how genuine it is because we seriously know nothing. Just know that I like it or it works.
Yeah.
And like I couldn't even tell you the scientific difference between the base layer and the Hydro Layer. I can tell you the difference of the texture of it and how it feels. And it's the Hydro Layer is much more like moisturizing, or makes my skin feels really good, especially with my dry skin, my psoriasis and stuff that I'm always constantly battling and dealing with.
Yeah.
And I just started using that. So I've added that now to the rotation. The Hydro Layer was not part of it, and I really like it. And I don't know if you've done it, Doug, if you were already on the...
Yeah, no, I just started. I just got my first jar of it probably a week ago.
Oh, you too then. Okay, cool. So I don't feel so bad that I was
that's
the only one.
That's my wife's favorite one of all their products.
Yeah, it does hydrate.
Yeah. Yep.
So sometimes you put things on your skin and they make it feel more dry.
Yeah.
This actually really makes it feel.
Yeah. I rub it all over my face and head.
Oh yeah.
So it feels really good. So I'm a big fan of that
too.
Put
things
now.
on my head soon.
Yeah.
I was out in the sun the other day.
Start buffing it,
and I'm like, now I'm starting to have to put a hat on, dude. I'll get a sunburn on my head, which I've never done before.
Oh god.
Oh, I'm close, dude. I'm close. I've seen videos of myself, when I'm doing especially.
Oh, that's the hardest thing.
Well, see here on camera you see me from the front, so I can't tell. But I do, I have this series I do called To His Kingdom with Dylan, and that one you see me from all angles because I'm working out.
Yeah.
And there's times when I'm like doing like a bent over fly or a row, or
that's
I'm like,
what got me, bro.
And he's like, and I see it, and I'm like, oh wow,
that's what that looks.
There's no hiding that at all.
No.
I'm balding big time.
That was it for me, dude. That was all it took was the team shooting video of me, and I had because like you said, like I see this stuff, right?
It was fine.
And I was like, oh, I'm fine. And then it was a shot like that It doesn't help too. A lot of times they're shooting you with under lights and things like that too. And that camera just goes like, oh man. I remember getting mad at everybody for not telling me.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't feel like anybody was telling me back then.
I wasn't teasing you back then?
No, it wasn't until I think it was after I started admitting and talking about it. Then it was like,
I was like, oh, it's
they
knew it was fair game.
Yeah, then it was fair game. Lay into me or whatever. But I'm like, I was mad that nobody said. I was really mad at my wife. I'm just like, you let me walk around like that? Like, it's fine. You know,
You don't look bad.
Yeah,
You
so I
don't
don't
look
know.
bad. Justin's not losing a single. Nothing.
No,
He
I mean, it's
covers the
short
same-
now, but like
That's what
that was intentional.
Makes me so mad. He wears
just covers
hats.
it all the time.
Yeah, I know. It's such a
I'm waiting until I get-
blasphemy, bro. Jeez.
I mean, I go through periods. Like I'll probably go through a period where I'll do my hair a lot more, but I'm waiting for it to just turn completely white. That's my goal.
I don't think it will. I think it's just going to stay kind of gray like that. It's pretty gray, dude.
My dad's kind of, it's.
Is it
it's
white?
Yeah, it's like it shifted. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like full on.
Wow.
But that didn't white doesn't shift till quite a bit later. I imagine you're gonna be
70s,
you're gonna be
80s.
gray silver for a long time before you go all white. You know who I just saw in a show? I just saw a show with him is Richard Gere, and he's all white now. And I've never seen him all white. He was always
he was gray.
Yeah, he's always been gray. Like he's always been.
He's got to be in his 70s now, right?
Yeah. So and I
That's
think
like wizard status, dude. I'm
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. See,
Oh, yeah.
See what he looks like now. Like he was always gray, right? He always had like good gray hair. He was like that gray. I look at him in Pretty Woman. So Pretty Woman, that's why I see Justin's hair is like that. Like he's got that good salt pepper mix, you know?
Yeah, it's peppery.
Yeah. But he's white. It's white now. But it took all the way till now, till I seen him like this. Where how old is he, Doug? 70? Maybe
let me
more.
see.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, he's somewhere around there, right?
He is 76.
Oh wow.
Wow, he's still doing shows too. I saw a new show that
All of the people
pretty good.
we grew up watching, they're all in their 70s, dude. It's just crazy.
weird.
What's Sylvester Stallone now? He's in his 70s, right?
he might be 80.
No.
He's not.
No, he can't be.
Is he mid to late 70s?
I think he's
79.
Bro,
Oh
80.
my God.
That's 80, dog.
70s.
my boy.
I know.
Listen,
Pretty much everybody,
I'm
yeah.
not going to jinx. Okay, but she's got man when that because he's like a hero of mine, dude. Something happens to Stallone.
Well, Arnold's
That'll be a
78.
sad day
Arnold's
for me.
78. So Arnold's almost 80. Dang. Yeah, they're almost
Arnold
80.
was a hero of mine for a long time. And I still think he's like the epitome of the American dream, literally, like immigrant success, all that stuff.
Yeah, his story's
But he
great.
said some stupid stuff.
He's
during
really,
COVID.
he really ruined it during COVID.
Like,
for
what are
me
you doing,
too,
bro?
I was like, come on, guy.
And is he not? Do you follow him enough to know if he backpedaled from that?
No.
He never really.
He didn't double down, did he?
Never really came back. And
I get a vibe that he
corrected
just kind
that.
of says what he thinks he's supposed to sometimes. Schwarzenegger?
He's in with the politicians.
Yeah,
Like he'll just say things that'll
Now he
appease them.
can't because he's a first generation immigrant. He can only go so far in the politicians.
Yeah,
right?
he can. He was governor. That was about it.
That's as high as you can get.
Yeah,
isn't
he
it?
can't be. I don't think you could be. No, he can't be president.
I know he definitely can't be.
I don't think you can run in Congress either.
I think you can, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
could
how
be
high
in Congress.
Can you? I don't know how high
I think
he
you can.
Get.
I think it's just president.
It is
It's the
only a
one.
president. Oh, okay. Yeah. So maybe he'll do that. Maybe that's what he's.
Nah, he's done, dude.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he's done. I remember when his workout partner Columbo died. Remember that? Mm-hmm. He died. He drowned.
Oh, he drowned.
Yeah, dude.
Is
He
that how
went
it
out
happened?
swimming like super far.
Really?
And then he ended up drowning. Something happened.
That's weird.
I know.
That's not
Super sad.
Yeah, that is sad. Was it? How old was he? Do you remember?
I want to say he was 76 or 75 when he died.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll find out here. So, but
78.
he was 78, and he died by drown. Right, suffering a medical emergency while swimming on the coast of Sardinia.
Oh, was he doing like a legit swim and then had like a heart attack or something?
Something like that.
I mean, 78 and swimming is like a legit swim.
yeah,
Isn't
it
it?
was really sad to hear Arnold talk about Franco after he passed away.
That'd be really
They
sad
were
too.
buddies.
Doing
best life, bro.
like
Yeah.
exercising like that, doing
Exercise
something like that
partner
to
and the
go
whole
like
thing.
that.
Yeah.
Hey, what did you think of? I sent you over a list.
Oh, pull it up, Doug.
From,
the 5 luxury purchases worth. The
So
money.
Sam Parr has a group that I've been a part of for several years now. If you've been listening long enough, you've probably heard me talk about it. The Hampton Group, which is just a collection of all founders and CEOs. And he's done some really cool stuff I like. So I follow his podcast and some of his content still and talk to
he's
him.
got good stuff.
And yeah, I do. I like a lot of the stuff he's done. And he's now, I mean, he's got this massive, Hampton's huge, right? It's worldwide. And it's got, he's got this great tons of data of, and everybody that's in there are very successful entrepreneurs. So he's got all this collection of all these very, very successful founders. And so he gathers a lot of good data from all these different owners and founders of companies. And one of the things he recently ran was like he ran this article, 5 luxury purchases that are actually worth the money.
So it says he interviewed 80 founders ranging from, and they're worth from 10 million to 4 billion.
Yeah.
And here's what they said about what they regret or don't regret.
Yeah, basically it's what the top 5 ways of using their money. And so he had an even deeper, this is a piece of I read the whole thing. It's actually really cool. He had interviewed all of them. So I actually went through, I mean, he showed me when he was doing this, he actually had me look at it before he posted it and shared it publicly. And it was really cool. I got to go through like each individual one of these millionaire and billionaires, and they had a breakdown of their total money expenses, and they shared with him like what they spend it on and all the, and so he's collected all that, and then he's distilled this post down to the 5 things that's actually worth their money. But the way he got to this was actually very thorough. It was like a very detailed personal report from every single one of these founders, how they spend their monthly money. And it's ranging from people, their net worth is from as 4 million all the way to $10 billion.
Well, let's see what it says. So number 1 is buying back your time. So every hour spent doing stuff you hate is an hour not spent time with your kids or building the next thing. So one founder said hiring a private chef changed his life because he stopped thinking about meals 3 times a day. So this could be a housekeeper, chauffeur, or personal assistant. Okay, so this makes a lot of sense. So like an example of this would be doing like mowing your lawn.
Right, landscaping.
Like landscaping. So you may think like, well, you know, I'm going to spend money on hiring someone to do that. But the real way to look at the value is what else would I do with that time? If that's 4 hours every Saturday, are there things I could do that are more valuable? So let's say you're building a business, maybe that I could spend 4 hours building my business instead of doing my yard work. Or maybe I could spend four hours with my kids or whatever. So just an example of that.
Yeah, no, I really like this, and I wanted to hear you guys' opinion and take on all of it, because what you'll find, I mean, again, these are like uber wealthy people, and this is like things that they consider luxury things that you spend your money on. Yeah. And what you'll find interesting is cars, watches, things, none of those didn't make the list whatsoever. And number 1 is buying back your time. And I would have to agree with that. I would agree that, you know, one of the things that I have valued the most about making more money is the ability to make that decision. Not everybody has that luxury, right? Yeah. It's a luxury to be able to have the decision of like, I don't want to mow my lawn. Like some people have to mow their lawn in order to do that. And making a decision of, oh, I have an extra income, or I'm starting to make more money. Oh, I could go buy a fancy luxury car, or I could drive a modest car and actually have somebody now do my lawn. And I think that's the good takeaway from this is you don't have to be uber rich where you're in a position where you make it a choice to not drive the BMW or Lexus or whatever, and maybe you drive the Toyota or the Honda, but now you cover somebody to handle your landscaping. And I think that's the cool takeaway from this is like, because I know some people might look at this and be like, well, I can't connect and relate to somebody who's worth 10 million or $4 billion. But it's like, no, we all make trades and decisions as you, whether you're somebody who makes, you know, under 6 figures, beyond that, or millions of dollars, you're constantly trading your time, money, and all those things. And so it's like, how many people do you know still might be mowing their lawn or doing things, but then they're driving a car that's really expensive, and it's
not
like,
not a good use.
Yeah, and I think that's the good takeaway from this is that, hey, as you climb the ladder financially, as you get older, mature, and better at skilled at whatever it is that you do, you'll be faced with this decision. Hey, I can now drive that fancy car, but hear it from all these people that have been there, done that, and they're telling you like, listen, this is a better place to invest your money.
Number 2, Doug? Personal trainer. Agreed. I think this is.
I thought this was really interesting that this made the list.
Yeah. Well, it should. Listen, we know this. We trained lots of clients.
We do, but I thought this was fascinating coming from.
We pitched this, but I'm surprised.
Me too. That I thought this was really interesting coming from just a bunch of billionaires out of a list. These aren't like. This isn't isolated to health and fitness people or anything related to us. This is just like. And so I think this is actually this is different. 20 years ago, this does not make the list. No. 20 years ago, so this isn't getting highlighted.
No, but here's the thing. Like we talk about this all the time on the show. Better health and fitness makes everything else better. So investing in ways to improve your health will make the rest of your life much better and save you money. Here's the thing. Being fit and healthy saves you money. If you look at things like medical costs, loss of productivity, loss of quality of life, and what that could potentially cost you, It's a wise investment, and people are figuring this out.
Yeah.
The next one is a dream house. Now they said they like their dream house because it helps with dinners, reunions, and holidays. So basically, have your design your home for connection.
Yeah. So you're bringing everybody to you.
Yeah.
I mean, you heard me talk about
Which
this.
I subscribe.
This one like super resonates with me because
rather than just being in your big house by yourself.
And I love that. So it says number 3, dream home, and then in parentheses it says not for the reasons you think. And I think that's so true because if you would have asked me in my 20s what my dream home looks like, it doesn't look like the home that I live in. The one I would have drew a picture of in my early 20s would have been this massive over the top type of place. And really when I look at what I've distilled down to what now is my dream home, it's for those exact reasons right there. It's been designed in a way, it's been curated on hosting my family and friends and barbecues and hanging out outside, inside, and music. Like I've thought about a lot of that stuff and not neighbors on top of me. And like that stuff wasn't things that I thought about when I was 20 going, oh, draw your dream house or describe your dream house. It looked a lot different.
Well, a house that promotes connection and social interaction makes a lot of sense when you look at how valuable it is for quality of life.
Well, and to have it be the destination for my kids' friends to want to really hang out and connect. And I get to know their friends really well that way, their parents, we have them over. So there's a lot of value in that for me. Like back to the first point of it, where like, buying your time back and all that. That one I wrestle with a little bit. I totally subscribe to it, and I like, having the flexibility and being able to like have people do the remedial stuff or the tasks I don't want to do. But also because of where my kids are at in terms of their age, I find a lot more value in having them do hard work.
Oh no, that's a huge plus. Yes.
But it's like you have to actually manufacture that.
Yeah.
Which is rough. Like it's like one of those things like so I want to just like have landscapers, but I'm like, well, this is an opportunity. I need to go out there and do it with them to instill this in them. And that's not everybody's cup of tea, but like, I've just found like it makes the household energy much better and everything else. And it's teaching them, some life lessons at the same time. So I juggle with that though. Cause I'm like, sometimes obviously we all want to break and all that too, but it's valuable to me.
So I think there's a middle ground to the point you're making, or a way to kind of have your cake and eat it too. So what I do in that example, so not only do we have people that take care of the cars, but I also have landscapers, but I also still do both of those things.
Yeah.
So there's times where I will opt out of not having a car washed, and I will take Max outside, and him and I will wash
together.
Yeah, it's a beautiful sunny day. Him and I. It's a weekend. I know the car needs to get cleaned, and it's like, of course, I could have someone go take care of it for me, like I do sometimes sometimes. But today is a day where like, oh, this will be a good opportunity for me to do that. I have landscapers that are on a schedule, but then there's times where I'm like, you know what? I need to power wash the backyard and clean. And I noticed those shrubs are overgrown. I'm gonna go trim them myself. And so I think the luxury of having it outsourced, that I can choose to do that time, and I can choose to do it with my son or not. Yeah. So it's like I don't have the stress and the pressure of to keep all of it all the time. But then I can also dip in and out, because I think what you're saying is extremely valuable, to show your kids that work, to do it yourself. And then we've talked about this before too. Like I even think about from a movement perspective, I make that decision sometimes. Sometimes it's actually not even about my kids.
Yeah, instead of cardio. Yeah. I tend to enjoy that more anyways.
Yes. It's like, I don't want to get in my car and go to the gym, just go walk on a treadmill for an hour. Why don't I just go wash the car for an hour?
Exactly.
I'll burn just
There's
as
a
many
lot
calories.
more examples of mundane stuff that you get, like a house cleaner, and there's all kinds of stuff that you can do that you really don't want to do. Like that's nice to buy back your time that way.
Good.
But the personal training one, I just to stay there for a minute. I'm so impressed that that's made the list. I think that's such a cool thing to highlight, that we've now come to a place where, even because wouldn't you guys say that when you were training people in your 20s, and because we trained very wealthy people when we were young, a lot of times that they didn't have trainers. I mean, we had a few clients that were like that, but they were the anomaly.
Right.
Like a lot of them
thought it took away from them being productive.
Yeah, there was a very small percentage of CEOs and founders and people that were higher, where it seems like it's very in vogue or trendy, or they're more aware.
They see the value.
Yeah, they're more aware of the ROI I'm way more productive when I do that.
Oh, all the clients I had the back half of the last, I don't know, 13 years of my training career were very successful people. And they would tell me, this is in my budget. I budget this in my monthly budget because it brings me so much value. And they would tell me this all the time. It makes me better at work. Keeps me healthy. It makes me feel better. And it was just a part of their
you have more drive. Yeah, there's so many benefits to it.
Now the cool part is if you're somebody who's already a health and fitness person and you don't need any motivation or discipline or accountability to this, you can add another fifth to this list because you don't have to pay for a trainer to do that. But if you're somebody who needs it, the accountability, it pays itself.
Well, I think
back.
most people would value from working with a coach for at least 6 months. Yeah. Then it says experiences. I agree with this 100%. I think the memories you make with experiences are so much more valuable than things. Yeah. Going on trips or adventures or experiences where you're learning something. I think that's so valuable.
Memories last so much longer.
They do, dude.
Yeah,
they do.
They did like this. I don't know if it was a survey or a study they did on this, but like even the way our brain remembers things. These things, they stick. Like I think I saw this thing and it was about kids. Like the most memorable things that a kid could do is like going on a camping trip. Yep. Yeah. Like it'll trump the expensive toy you bought them for their time. They won't remember that, but they'll remember the summer camp thing that they did in 3rd grade or something crazy like that. Right. And so I forget what like I said, if it was a survey or a study they did on it, but I remember reading it and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like and then I thought I did the exercise myself. I thought, oh, you know what? That's so true. I definitely remember like almost every memorable camping trip or camp that I went to, but ask me what I got on my 7th birthday. I know. And I'm like, I have no idea.
I remember like one gift.
Me too.
It was like my first Jordans.
Mine was Nintendo.
That was it. Oh yeah, Nintendo.
Only because I cried because I didn't get it.
Yeah, that was a big one though.
Can I tell you why? Let me tell you why I remember it. I remember it because I thought I was going to get it for my birthday. I didn't get it. And I didn't say anything to my parents. I respected my parents. My dad worked real hard. I knew, it's like, but I quietly and silently was sad. And I remember my mom was like, what's the matter? Why are you so sad? Why are you so sad? And I kind of got teary, and I was like, and I kind of told her, I didn't want anybody to know. And I thought I was going to get a Nintendo. And like 30 minutes later, my dad comes up and he's like, let's go. We're going in the car. I'm like, why? He's like, I'm going to take you to get a Nintendo. And I just never forget that. It wasn't the Nintendo. It was that my dad did that.
Yeah.
What's number 5, Doug?
Yeah. Number 5 is flying private or business class.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what.
I can get down with this now. You guys know where I stand.
This is where we're gonna lose the audience.
I feel like I converted you guys.
I'm gonna sell. Listen, I'm gonna give everybody a story because flying can suck. It can be stressful.
It's all stress.
It can be stressful. It's tough. Whatever. And I get it. You want to go somewhere. It's how you get places. I totally get it. We got invited. When did we go to London?
2023.
We got invited in 2023 to be at this like really big event, and we splurged. And I'd never done a first class flight, and I'd flown international before.
That was my first as well. Yeah.
International can be brutal. Like you're sitting in that chair the whole time. I'm not a young kid anymore, so it's hard to sleep. That changed my life. I was like, this is, if I could travel like this.
Ruined it.
Now, I'm not going to be traveling like that all the time, but I can see why this made the list because it changes the experience.
Well, context matters here too, right? I think any of us could tough out a regular flight.
Sure.
But what I think what you find in a list like this that's really
the volume.
Exactly.
So
the volume of flying.
Totally.
Most of these people, the volume of flying that all of us do now.
Yeah, if I had to fly to Europe like 3 times a year and I had a big company, that would be an expense for sure.
Yes. And so I think that matters, right? Because you're right. A lot of people get lost on this and not connect to this. It's like, and let me tell you, if we flew 1 time a year, I would give 2 shits about toughing out one flight. But and we've had different years where our flight volume is very high, and then it's like, but we fly a lot compared to what I'm sure all of us flew the rest of our life. And so when it's a regular thing of your life and you have to do it a lot, you just encounter a lot of, everybody's probably in their life encountered a shitty airport experience. When your volume is high, you experience that a lot.
A lot of them. Yeah.
And so it's like, man, and then it also, when you're flying for business, it's an expense on the company. And so when you're an entrepreneur or a founder, that's an expense that comes off the top end. Like whether you fly coach or first class, it's like you're no matter what, it's getting expensed on the company. It brings your taxable income down, which is how, I mean, I think I remember really getting you guys to like convert over that direction. It's like, listen, if the difference of out of your pocket when you really think about it, because you're going to end up paying some of that over to the government tax wise. So then this is why this ends up making a lot of sense. Is it runs an expense on the business. If you have a high volume of it, then it makes it a lot better.
Doug,
So
can
I
you
got
pull up
this.
Keon's all their different products, because we've talked a lot about their essential amino acids, which I would say is probably one of their best products, because and I've said this in past podcasts. For essential amino acids to really work, they have to be high in leucine. Leucine is the trigger that sets muscle protein synthesis in motion. That's the muscle building that you get from essential amino acids. And you need your essential amino acids to be at least 40% leucine, which Keon's is. They list everything. But they have other products too. They have creatine is one of them. And I believe they have a really high quality fish oil as well. So if people are interested in like really, really good supplements, Keon is like super, super high quality.
They do have good omegas.
Yeah, I use those.
Yeah, so I actually use those.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's I'm big on their omegas.
I like their omegas.
Yeah.
What else does it say they have? Protein.
Yep.
Oh, good. And they have the amino acids, essential amino acids, both powder and capsule.
I like the capsules, just because it's.
You just throw 5 in there.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm a big fan. I don't know if what's more popular for them, if they sell more of the powder or not. But I like the capsules. I find it easier to carry with me, and then I could just with water throw them in my mouth and then or whatever I'm drinking. I could be drinking anything. And
I like them when people are in a cut. I think when you're in a cut, it makes a really big impact to help preserve muscle.
Oh yeah. Well, that, and then because GLP-1s are so popular, I think it becomes. I mean, when you look.
That's a necessary.
Yeah.
The people that we coach on GLPs, we're like, you're going to use essential amino acids.
A tool in your toolbox.
Yes, minimize that muscle loss. Totally. Did you guys know? I got a fact for you guys. Did you guys know that there was a strongman competitor that got banned?
He got banned
From competing?
From competing because he was too dominant?
No way.
Yes, it is.
No.
Yes, it is. It is true. Bill Kazmaier.
I remember Bill Kazmaier. Yeah.
Bill Kazmaier.
I never knew he was banned.
Bill Kazmaier was banned because he destroyed the
He just
competition
made
too much.
everybody else look silly.
Now I got to say this, my opinion. I think that was a stupid decision because I think it's when you have somebody that dominant, it only gets more views. I think they had the wrong idea, but that's literally why they banned him, because he was too good.
What are examples of? Can you?
Was it the 80s or 90s?
It was
or?
1982.
Yeah.
He was 29 years old. This was like at the peak of his career. By the way, I'm going to tell you guys just how this guy's just a machine, right? He held world records in powerlifting along with strongman competitions. He was 6'2", 300 or something, 340 pounds.
He was a
Okay.
beast.
Do you know how strong he was in powerlifting? By the way, this is before double ply, triple ply shirts. This is like single ply powerlifting. Do you guys want to know what his lifts were? 660 pound bench, 900 pound squat, 880 pound deadlift.
That's
That guy right there. Just a moose.
Well-rounded strength.
just in the hospital a month ago. How's he doing?
Was he really?
Yeah, she that over to the right says that
what?
1 month ago. Bill was.
It doesn't say. Does it say?
Yeah.
That sucks.
I'm pulling it up.
He's 72 years old.
Yeah,
He's 6'2", yeah. Was he see what like half
he looks
floors up to, like,
all right though.
How many is it?
I
He
don't know.
deadlifted 1,000-something pounds.
In the competition
Yeah.
with one of those, like, was it the one with the coins?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, so did I ever tell you guys when I met him? So let's see. He's 72 now. So this must have been, I was, let's see, about maybe 12 or 13 years ago. This is right, maybe a couple years before we started Mind Pump. So let's see, 72. So that would have made him how old? 60? So he's about 60 years old. I went to the Arnold Classic event. This is the bodybuilding show, but they also have the big fitness event where for people who don't know, like there's like a huge convention center and they have like arm wrestling and powerlifting
stuff,
It's like this huge strength event type of deal. And there were two things that stood out to me. One of them was this, I forgot the guy's name, don't remember him. Skinny black dude, had an arm wrestling table and a line of people lined up. And he might have weighed 160 pounds and he was just beating everybody in arm wrestling. So he just kept going through everybody. It was pretty crazy. Then I remember there was a booth with Bill Kazmaier, 60-year-old Bill Kazmaier. And people were taking pictures with him. And then he was taking frying pans and you could hold the frying, like a legit frying pan.
Curling them? Like
with one hand. He would grab it like this and roll it up.
Dude.
60-year-old man with his fingers. Crazy.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
So I'm just baffled by the fact that they kicked him out of the sport that he was dominating.
He was too.
That doesn't make any sense. When does that happen in any other sport?
Well, I was going to bring up what you don't see is someone getting kicked out, but what you do see in sports,
They change the rules.
Yes, they change the rules.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think of like what are some things?
I know Formula One's done it. I know like race sports have done that where they've changed like, okay, you guys can't have an engine bigger than this, or you guys can't do this. With the,
I mean, I think it was Wilt Chamberlain when goaltending came around because that wasn't a thing before that. I believe. I think that was what his was. Was I think we started doing that. I know that. So there's in basketball, there's been many things that they've had to change because of a guy comes in and then just oh my god,
too good.
Yeah, like he's just standing at the hoop and he's knocking the ball.
He can't shoot.
Is that what goaltending is?
Yeah. Goaltending means so when a ball is on the downward part of the arch, you can't hit it out of the air.
Oh,
and otherwise these 7-foot guys would just stay right at the rim and just volley it out.
Yep.
So
that's what he was doing.
Yeah. So is it
Yeah,
Wilt's?
it was 1961 to stop him.
Yeah, because he could
effortlessly catching and tipping.
Yes, because he was so tall and long that he could just stand in front of the hoop and right before the ball comes, just take it out of the air. And so now you can get it on the way up, but you can't get it on the way down.
Was he for his time in comparison to other people? Was he the most dominant basketball player of all time?
Well, he's the only one that's ever scored 100 points in a game.
That's what I mean. So, like, obviously, because people do this with sports, they'll take a past person and try and place him in a modern game. That's not fair.
It's not. Yeah.
But while he was playing, was he the most dominant that we'd ever? Like, nobody's ever been that dominant in basketball.
In that era, I don't know who would be comparable in that era with.
No, not in that era. I mean, 100. If we define that by point scoring. That's it. No one's ever scored 100 points. Mm-hmm. You've had some get close with 70s and 60s.
That's so crazy.
But 100 points in a game is just
What does that say right there, Doug? What are you looking at? Is that
it was
so
like
Wilt
Pistol
Chamberlain
Pete era.
said that this is Wilt Chamberlain on Michael Jordan. The difference between you and me is that they had to change the rules so I couldn't dominate. They changed the rules for you so that you could dominate.
What did they do? What do they do with Jordan?
I don't know.
Oh, you're hitting at him in the heart right now. Jordan's his boy.
Is that really
Jordan
a quote
would
said
use
by
that
him or
as
somebody
fuel
else?
to
Apparently, that's Wilt Chamberlain. Chamberlain.
I
quote,
bet that's a tongue-in-cheek type of comment like that.
Sure.
I don't even think that will.
You gotta love. Hey, you know what I love about those old like 1960s, 70s basketball guys? Why are the shorts so small?
Shorts.
Like things were hanging out, bro. Like don't be jumping over me in those tiny shorts.
Their Chuck Taylor shoes and everything is wild. What they
did you told the story to you guys about? So in high school we had those. Like we had like shorts that were from like the 50s and 60s. So our old high school, it was like, oh yeah. I mean, you know, somebody who went to school when we went to school. I'm sure has experienced this where you had a school that didn't have a lot of money and budget, and so our basketball jerseys and shorts were from like the 50s and 60s,
and they were like tight.
So they were skin tight and super short, and then when the school got a little bit of money, the first team varsity got the nice stuff, and so when you were a freshman and sophomore,
you had to keep the tiny.
Yeah. So listen to this though. So this is what happens to me. So. Freshman, sophomore year, we get this. Then we get to JV and varsity, and we're finally going to get the new awesome uniforms, right? And so we've already been wearing the Daisy Dukes, all this. Up comes this freshman. I'll never forget his kid. His kid's name was Derek Schaefer, and he was like 6'6", 300 pounds as a freshman. And so because he couldn't fit in any of those clothes, they gave the freshman class our varsity jerseys.
So you had to go back
and we had to go back to the shitty jerseys. Oh my God, bro! I remember being angry for a year. I mean, my buddies and I that all play, we were so angry.
Looking forward to.
We were so ready for like the cool, long, comfortable
I just picture
shorts.
you in high school with a tiny, because you're probably a skinny kid.
Oh,
probably
very
had some skinny little legs.
Oh yeah. No, I was super skinny.
They did us dirty.
I was short too until junior, senior year. So I was skinny and small. I was only I was 5'3" and about 100 and
How long were you 5'3" for?
freshman year. And then I was like 5'6", 5'8", sophomore year. Junior summer is when I sprouted all the way to 6 foot. And then I grew even after high school. So I kept growing until I was out of high school. But yeah, I was
6 foot, as tall as I am now, in ninth grade. Boom, done.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I got tall, and that was it. Done.
Yeah.
Like ending.
Oh yeah. No, I was short. Yeah, I was short.
When did you
Like, I was like 5'10", and then it was junior, summer, same, where I sprouted 6, and then it just.
So my brother was like
it.
you. My brother, we thought was gonna be a little guy, and then suddenly he's a giant. It just, but
Yeah, you would have thought I was going to be very little because I was short and skinny. So I looked like I was going to be super small, which I look back now, which is, I always tell stories of like I was never like this gifted athlete. I always had to work really hard. I mean, I was small too. So I was like, I got bullied around in sports, but it was really good for me because it made me have to, I'm also young for my class too. So that adds another layer. So I'm young for my class. I was small for my class. But then by the time I got older, then I really like sprouted and grew, and then later I filled out. But it took me a long time.
high school's funny like that. Like you'll see your buddy come back after summer, and he's got like a mustache. Like,
Dude,
what happened,
I
dude?
know. That's time with my youngest right now and his friends. He just all of a sudden sprouted up, and he's got this little stash. And
Really?
hey guys, like all his friends like, hey, we haven't seen you forever, I'm like, oh my god, I forget that he's like a young kid.
Yeah, your boys have really grown and changed in the last year or two. Yeah, I've seen them really, really.
Yeah, this year
grow.
especially.
And, they look so different to me than just a couple of years ago. I mean, they
It's funny to see too when they grow. Like their feet and hands will get big first, and then just look awkward as hell because things don't grow evenly.
Yeah.
you know. Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
god. Yeah.
How are you with them? Because they're turning into little men now, like challenging you and all that. Like, are they?
Yeah, it's like I'll still wrestle, and we'll pick fights and just to get some energy out. But I think what's new with that is more of like I'll say something and then they'll try and make fun of me. Which is new. Yeah. And so I'll clap back, and like I'm like, okay, you want to go down that road, and then we start getting into it. But it's funny. They're just trying to like, press the line and like make jokes at my expense, and that's new because it's.
You're used to being cool dad.
It used to be the cool dad. Now it's like they're trying to kind of check me a bit.
I get teased constantly, but that's because I have a 16-year-old daughter and an 18-year-old niece. And so they're like teenage girls. And I think this is, they like to do that with dad. They like to tease. And it's fine because I don't tease them back. They can't take it if I did.
Yeah.
So I let them, so they tease and they'll joke around.
Yeah, I feel like from the girls it's like
fine.
It's cute, sweet, it's
fine.
funny.
Oh yeah.
Where with you, I feel like it's a part of manhood. It's a part of like there is a part of feeling out. Like I'm becoming my own man. And so does it ever,
it shows up like this. Like I'll be, sitting on the couch. I'm like, hey pal, before you go to your room, like, can you, take the dishes and put them in the dishwasher and this, and he's like, oh yeah, because you're, something about me being lazy on the couch and like I should do it myself kind of a thing. And I'm like, and I just get up like, what'd you say? And they're like, and then they like end up going to do it, but so I'm just like, excuse me, like, oh, end you. But I know it's like, they're just trying to press me and see what.
It has to be that's just.
Are there any mood? Because obviously I have teenage girls, and mood swings are just come with the territory. Do they have? Because boys can get that a little too.
They have big moods. I guess like usually it comes with a struggle of like either something at school they're not performing well in, or something like for their sport. That
so
they can't overcome.
It's not just random.
It's
like
not
at my
random.
house.
Yeah, it's very much
nothing happens.
Predictable.
What's happening?
Yeah. Do they both your kids? Question for both of you like that, because I'm still young, right? So we're still turning 7 years old right now. So the one thing that my son is, he's been such a saint. He's so easy, but there's for sure if he is tired, hungry, or he has come from his grandma's house, or like can get in like a mood, and sensitive, and if he doesn't get his way, like you can see this side to him that I'm so used to this kid being so consistent, that those three things throw off the
It's
consistency.
the perfect storm.
It is. It's just, what it shows up like is like emotional over just the dumbest of things for no reason. It says like, what? Why? What do you like? It's like ridiculous. And I always have to remind myself, oh, that's right. Like, he was over at Nana's house last night. They stayed up till 10 o'clock at night. So I'm getting a combo of both. We're tired today, and we just got done never being told no all day long. You know, so the fact that you're being told something or no, like all of a sudden you're getting like, that's not like him to be that way. So do they have tells like that?
Yes, I just thought of, the main thing that I usually now I'm learning that this is really the core of it is that they're scared. It's something that they're scared about. Like for Ethan, like, cause I kept teasing him and pressing him on getting his license because he hasn't been putting all the work in with driving the car. We're trying, Courtney and I both are trying to get him to drive and get more reps and he just seems so like aloof about it and like, like I know, like all this like false confidence. And his personality is very much more like, like portrays all this confidence, but inside he's really scared, and I've just started to pick up on that. And I'm like, okay, so I just need to be a little more like, hey bud, let's go for a ride. Like
versus teasing him, like
teasing him about, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I've adjusted my strategy with that quite a bit.
That's good.
Oh, that's interesting.
There's a surefire way to wake up ready to go to the gym feeling fresh after a night of drinking. It's with ZBiotics pre-alcohol. So this is a pre-alcohol probiotic drink that's the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. Now, it was invented by PhD scientists who wanted to tackle rough mornings after drinking. So here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme, and it breaks down this byproduct in the gut. So remember to have ZBiotics before your first drink of the night. It lasts for about 18 to 24 hours. Drink responsibly. Watch how you feel the next day. Go to zbiotics.com. That's ZBIOTICS.com/mindpump26. Use the code mindpump26. Get 15% off. Back to the show. This segment of the podcast is brought to you by Mind Pump Fitness Coaching. This is the #1 course that teaches trainers and coaches how to build sustainable 6-figure plus businesses and careers in fitness. Look, it's roundtable based, so you can hear Adam, Justin, and myself teaching you how to build a better business, get more leads, close more deals, close bigger deals, and be more effective trainers. By the way, our course is nationally recognized. In fact, it gives you 1.9 CEUs with or for your NASM certification. Find out more at mindpumpfitnesscoaching.com.
Our first caller is Philip from Ontario.
What's happening?
How you doing,
What's up,
Philip?
Hey guys, this is insane. Cool.
Oh, man. How can we help you?
I've been seeing you guys for a long time, so this is really cool.
Right on.
How are you guys?
We're good, dude.
Doing
Thanks, man. How can we help you, dude?
Right on. So yeah, I'll just do like what everybody else does and just read my email. Try and make it short and sweet. Name's Phil, 35, from Ontario. I've been a listener. It says over 2 years, but I've actually been doing the math, and it's been closer to 5. And I love the show. And you guys have changed the way I look at health and general fitness. So, I've always been a big guy, 6'2". My heaviest, I was 330 pounds, and at my lightest, I was 185. When I was a little younger, obviously, but still. Just before I found you guys, I went from 330 to 225 on all the wrong ways, fasting, cardio, and I wish I knew now what I knew then. Like, I would have gone so much better. But anyway, so I've been bouncing between 220, 235 pounds, just recomping as I go. But the reason why I'm writing into you guys has nothing to do with my metabolism, just to kind of give you some backdrop basically. But 2 summers ago, when I started figuring out everything about metabolic health and exercises that were king for that metabolic health, I knew that I had to start doing the bigger compound lifts and getting into that. So went into the squat rack, started learning how to squat, deadlift, and all that, and progressed pretty quickly. Got my deadlift eventually up to 405.
Nice.
My squat, I was progressing rather quickly. I would say too quickly. I got up to 225, which is a lower number, but I don't think I had the greatest of form. But one day, this is again 2 summers ago, I went down to the squat, and when I was in the hole, I felt a pop. And on my way up, I thought, okay, I finished the rep, and I was like, okay, I'm just not going to do any more. Walk away. By the time I walked over to the dumbbell rack, I couldn't walk. Everything had seized up. It took me 4 days to feel like I could walk without looking like I was crippled. And it's never been the same since. So I got an MRI after waiting for 1 year. Yay, Canadian healthcare. So I found out I have a moderate bulging disc between L5 and S1 with a severe narrowing of the left forearm nerve where I felt the pop. So it's kind of like in the iliac crest area. Some days I don't notice pain at all. Like I'll wake up, feel bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. And then other days it's like, even, how when you roll around in bed, you engage your core, that like this past Sunday, it sucked, kept me up all night. Like it just discomfort. So I've done physio with somebody I trust. I see a pain specialist who does myofascial release, or a specific type of form of it. And I can still deadlift some days without any issues. Now I know a lot of people have bulging discs and never have an issue, or symptoms, but I seem to do. And I know there's a weakness going on somewhere in my hips. I don't know where it is. My physiotherapist has said that I have an amazing external and internal hip rotation in terms of flexibility. I feel like it's tight, but he's saying that no, you can move really well. I've tried to do 90-90s, but I can't get my seat bones all the way down onto the floor, so I don't feel like I'm doing them correctly. So in my email, I've also stated like, if the pain is in my hip, it's not in my lower back, and if it's in my lower back, it's not in my hip. I've been sussing that out over the last little while, really paying attention. I don't think that's the case. So, I've debated on hiring a coach to kind of go through some movement exercises. And something I didn't really list in here is I kind of have a struggle because I was always the overweight guy. I've come to realize, and after listening to you guys for so long, like Sal, I think you'll empathize with me on this. Is the addiction of going to the gym, working out, lifting, and I've had this drive to get jacked for a while now. And it's a big goal of mine, but I think I really need to change my focus here this summer. What I want to plan on doing is going to like a 3-day a week, almost like a full body routine within my limitations, because I try and avoid hip hinging movements because of my my hip and that bulging disc. Though I know it can be worked on. So the idea would be to work out less. I'm currently working out 6 days a week. I would go work out 3 days a week, and then the other 3 days still go to the gym and basically become like the mobility guy, right? Try and focus on mobility. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I want to see if strength training properly with the right mobility techniques would help this. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
You're on the right track.
Yeah.
You're on the right track. I think the reason why you're still dealing with this issue is because you're doing a little too much with your workouts. So you can have too much volume, too much intensity, frequency in the short term, but it can also just be cumulative. What that means is, 6 days a week you do fine for a while, and then suddenly you start to notice pain and issues. And that's because stress becomes cumulative over time. So this is why athletes will do things like deload weeks, or they'll do a whole cycle of lighter training. And it's not because the training was too much before, it's because the training becomes too much over time. Does that make sense? So I think you're moving in the right direction. I think the difference between the days you feel no pain and the days you do has probably more to do with systemic inflammation.
Agreed.
And that's where
Okay.
you're starting to see the issues. Now, could there be some movement issues or some imbalances there? Yeah, possibly. I think going to a physio is a good idea. I think I would look at the pelvic floor. This is an area that men often don't even look at for strengthening. I would also look at strengthening core, obliques with rotation. I would look at strengthening the hip flexors. Those are all areas that support kind of where you're talking. I think a great routine for you would be symmetry, map symmetry. And I think following map symmetry and skipping the last phase would be a good idea for a couple rounds. And that's going to get you in the gym an appropriate amount. You're not going to be in the gym 6 days a week. It's an appropriate amount of exercise. I believe it's 3 days a week. And then in between, I like mobility and movement on the days in between, but you don't want to get carried away with like too much intensity on those days in between.
That's why I would have put him towards performance. I like because Matt Performance is programmed out that way for him already. It's not as unilateral focused, but it's still got unilateral work, and it's got a lot of things that
there's two phases in performance. I wouldn't want him in, like phase one, I think, and maybe the last one. What do you have for mobility, Phil? Do you have any structured mobility or?
None, unfortunately, no. Finances have all been a bit tight. I just bought my first tennis, so
Symmetry's got mobility.
It has the mobility sessions. I believe it's in phase 2.
There you go. So Symmetry's got the mobility in there as well. So Symmetry will give you your workout plus the mobility, and it's going to be unilateral for, I would say, a couple cycles.
Yeah.
So the last phase of Symmetry is bilateral, 5x5. Skip it.
Yeah.
Skip it twice. So you'll be going through about 4 months of pretty much all unilateral style training.
Yep.
Modify if you need to, but I think you'll be okay. And allow your body to rest and recover, because I think it's tied to inflammation at this point.
Yeah, I agree. Your thought process is correct, though. I mean, this is what Symmetry is going to be like for you. It's going to be 3 days of like strength training, and then the other 2 days of mobility type focus. And so that's what I would be doing.
You know, two of the biggest correlates for chronic pain are
no.
stress, poor sleep.
So my sleep is locked. I get like 85s, 90s on my sleep scores. 8 hours of sleep every night, sit bed same time, wake up same time. Get blocked.
My point with that wasn't to point to your sleep, but rather to point the effects of cumulative stress on the body. So lack of sleep is a real clear one, or poor sleep. And I think 6 days a week. How long have you been doing 6 days a week for?
About 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. You know, six days a week consistently is like without taking lots of time off, without doing periods of time where you're doing 2 days a week. So that is too much for probably 90-something% of people.
Yeah. And I'm probably wrong in stating this, but I do know that I spend a lot of time in the gym, obviously 6 days a week, but I also take extremely long rest periods, because I do emphasize and focus on like the strength component of it. So everything is a minimum of 3-minute rest periods, if not 5, if not more, depending on the type of lift, right? But even for like a simple exercise like bicep curls, I'm doing a long hold of like 3 or 4 minutes. Really focusing on getting stronger, and I don't do too many reps or too many sets. So
but you've been doing it for a long time.
Well,
so.
What you're describing too is incredible for building strength, but that does damage the body, right? So if I lift heavier, if I give longer rest periods and I lift a heavier weight, I do more damage to the body. It's good damage, right? It sends a signal to build muscle, so you're doing the right thing. But when you talk about what Sal's talking about with the cumulative stress, that's not doing you any more or less favors. I mean, that's still considered a lot. Like that's not. So let's say you circuit trained where you never rested and you just went all the way through. You could argue that that's equally as much stress on the body, or maybe even less than what you're doing, because you're able to load more because you're giving your rest period. So the load that you're able to put on the body, even though you're giving the rest periods, you can put a lot of load, which puts a lot of stress on the body.
And again, Phil, think of it this way: it's cumulative.
Yeah.
So it's fine. You get away with it for a while, but now you're noticing like pain come back, on and off. It could look like a little. This is what it looks like for people with cumulative stress. Progress stalls. I get a little stiffness. Some days feel better. Some days feel worse. For most men your age, good health, everything's good, typical guy, eating right, all that stuff. For most guys, 3 days a week is the fallback with strength training, appropriate strength training, and then you'll have sprints where you do more. But for most guys, about 3 days a week is that's kind of where you're going to be at most of the time.
I mean, the other option of programming is a 15 style symmetry, and then the other rest of his hour is spent on mobility.
That's the other option.
So you do 2 lifts a day. So every day you're still lifting weights, but it's only 2 lifts, and then you're doing mobility.
You're doing 30 minutes of mobility,
which I don't know which one
probably matches cadence a bit better,
and probably is. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I think I'm going to lean more towards 15 symmetry because the way my schedule works with work, and I'm always driving into the city. I've got long commutes and stuff like that. I'm always near the gym. So yeah, that factors. And then if I didn't want to work out on one day, I could just combine 2 of the 15-minute routines on one day anyway, right?
You could, or you could just start back up when you're where you left off.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No. So I think that. So yeah, I think 15 symmetry
that'll work well for you,
and then focus a lot on the mobility stuff like that. I think that'll really serve you. Yep. And that's so extreme the other direction, right? We're really reducing the volume there. If you start feeling really good in the first few weeks, that's like your clear indicator that you'll
know pretty quickly. Yeah. You'll know within the first few weeks because you'll feel stronger. You'll feel more energy. You'll be like, oh God, things are starting to feel better. Probably by month 1 or 2, less pain.
Okay, this is not at all the route I figured that you guys were going to say. I was thinking something like MAPS Prime or something like that. Like it's a movement issue. That's what I was just assuming.
Here's why there could very well be that also, but here's why I'm not going hard in that direction because I still think you should do mobility. But you saw a physio, and they're experts at identifying movement pattern issues, and they did say you got good. External
motion both ways.
Yeah, so there's no glaring issue. Otherwise, a physio will be like, "Oh yeah, here's your problem."
Yeah.
And then based on how much you're working out, like this is super common with people who are really consistent with workouts who have like kind of an issue that can pop up. Sometimes it's a knee or a back. You don't have like you said in your email, you don't have this massive bulging or slip disc. It was kind of minor, some narrowing of the nerve. But
it's just a constant.
That's right,
and it's irritating.
And sometimes you're like, I don't feel any pain, and so that points to you just kind of you're redlining a little bit for too long. Maybe not hardcore redlining, but you're just too consistently pushing the limit.
Okay, so on the topic of symmetry, there's no mobility stuff in symmetry, right? It's just the main exercises. So are there mobility exercises that I should be doing for my hips that would benefit?
There is, there's some.
Oh, there is.
Yeah, there's some in there. So symmetry actually, like in between, we have these frequency builders, and so we did add in like trigger sessions for metabolic and also the mobility sessions from performance. So what I would do is take, pull from the performance mobility movements there, and so anything hip related, hip flexor, anything you can pull from there, I think would be very helpful. The
other thing too is because symmetry is unilateral, that in and of itself is correctional.
What movements does the physio have you doing right now? Do they have you doing anything?
So I haven't seen that physio in a while. So I've been seeing the pain specialist now because I'll be honest, like the physio. So I tore my supraspinatus, 8 years ago, and she helped me back from that injury amazingly. And now I can push 200 pounds overhead without any issues. But doing the hip rehabilitation just didn't really we kept treating it. But the movements and nothing was really working. So I kind of just stopped. Shame on me, but such is life. But the pain specialist was the one who said your external and hip rotation is just amazing. Now, the one thing he did say was that the muscle, I think it's the IT band, the one that connects down to the outside of the knee, he said it is the tightest and hardest IT band he's ever seen in his career. I have zero discomfort from it. I don't even notice it. So I don't know if that's also an indication of something, but
IT band tightness can come from instability or overwork. Yeah. So runners will get that
probably.
Yeah. And again, like I said, I think so when somebody's doing a little too much for a little too long, like in your case, and it starts to kind of compound, more work is not the not the
exactly.
solution.
Yeah.
So more mobility
Hard
work
stop might be like the best thing for you right now.
Yeah, I've seen people with like pain and they just, I'm going to do more mobility, and it gets worse because they're doing more when they need to do less.
Okay.
That's why we'll know pretty quickly, putting you on a 15 protocol with that.
Yep.
Use Justin's advice. Take the stuff that's in there that's related to hips. Don't overdo it. Just every day. And then in a couple weeks, you should already start to feel better and like you're moving in the right direction. That'll be a really good sign that we're on the right path.
Okay. Cool.
We'll send that over to you, Phil.
I much appreciate, guys. That's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah,
Got it, man.
check back with us too. I'd like to hear from you and give us like a month or two of doing this and let us know how you're doing.
Yeah, maybe we'll have you back on to hear what's going on.
Okay, cool. Yeah, how do I reach? Do I just
same
go
email?
through
Same email.
All right.
Just let her know. And a guy said they wanted an update on how I'm
let's
doing,
make a note,
and then it'll
Doug.
get to us.
Yeah, we'll reach out to you. We'll make a note. We'll see if we can have you back on in 60.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Again, like just before, like at the end here, I really, really hope that the general population gets your message and it becomes the norm. I preach you guys all the time. I think my wife is sick and tired of me bringing you up all the time. She's always doing too much. So she's working out, same thing 6 days a week, and she's going crazy, but she's loving it. So
Awesome.
but yeah. Okay. And I forget who the psychopath said that, you put jam on the bread first and then peanut butter.
Jam first?
That's the only way to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, bro. Is jam first.
Hey, he also pees sitting down. Remember? I forget. That's not the word.
Adam, I'm with you on that one.
That's worse, dude. Don't make your peanut butter sandwich.
He's a happily married man. That's why.
Whatever. We're gonna clip that out and put you in a category.
Right on, Phil. Hey, we appreciate the support, brother. Thank you so much, dude. Okay.
Thank you guys. Much appreciated.
Take it easy, brother.
Right on.
All right. You too.
You know where a lot of the confusion comes from when people hear
Peanut butter and jelly?
No. When people hear, the value of activity, the value of daily movement, is they confuse daily activity with workout. So when you're lifting weights, you're working out. I'm in there to send a signal. But that doesn't mean that I shouldn't do daily activity.
Right.
And people confuse the two. They're like, what do you mean I shouldn't lift weights 6 days a week? I'm supposed to exercise every single day. No. Lifting weights is like, that's a hard stress.
Yeah.
For most people, what it's going to look like for most of the time, especially as you get into your 30s and beyond, is you're going to be lifting about 3 days a week is what it's going to look like.
It's ideal. Yeah.
That's what it's going to look most of the time. And you have little sprints where you do more, but most of the time it's about 3 days a week. That's where you're going to get the best results. That doesn't mean you're not active every day. You should definitely move every single day. And that could look like walking. It could look like stretching. It could look like swimming. It could look like lots of different things. But the lifting part, 6 days a week is too much.
It's chronic
for pretty much everybody.
I feel like we should like I'm trying to picture what it would look like right now if we design this almost like a 1-page printout and like
the perfect routine.
Well, no. Like we showed here's your stress bucket. Right?
Yeah.
And a strength training workout is like a rock this big.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That goes into that bucket, which it's a good rock, but it fills up this much of your bucket.
Big stress.
Yeah.
Now you only have so much.
Yeah. Walking, tiny little pebble, right? Yeah. And I
think walking takes a pebble out.
Or high stress at work, big rock here. You know what I'm saying? So we could give people this idea and once that bucket is full, I don't give a shit if a lot of it's full of stuff that you would consider good, it's full.
Yep.
And anything over that is overstress, and then your body is going to start to rebel and do things like this. And so understanding how to balance that out, because even when he was repeating back, I listen to you guys on how you talk about strength training. Yeah. And so he's doing the right protocol for building muscle. Absolutely giving yourself 3-minute rest periods. But then you also got to know that when you rest for 3 minutes, that now allows you to load the bar a lot more, which pushes the body more, which is more stress, which is good because that's what builds more muscle. But that doesn't make the rock any smaller. The rock is as big, if not.
The irony, which you caught, was he's trying to find another thing to add to solve the problem that's already a lot of things that we need to get rid of.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. And by the way, pro bodybuilders back in the day would take 3 months, 4 months off a year.
Yeah.
Ronnie Coleman most people consider the greatest Mr. Olympia of all time. After he'd win the Mr. Olympia, did nothing for 2 months. No working out, nothing at all for a full 60 days.
Well,
Let the body fully recover.
He'll know we're on the right path because I'm glad we went to the 15 route because that's even reducing his volume even more.
Yep.
He should feel
it.
a couple weeks he'll feel better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And if you feel better after a couple weeks of us reducing that much volume, that's what you needed to go that direction.
Our next caller is Ferron from Ontario.
Ferron, how you doing?
How you doing, Ferron?
Hi, I'm really good. How are you?
Good.
How can we help you?
Good. Well, I feel like it's my turn for show and tell because I was on 3 months ago and I wrote on and was asking for your advice on how to build the lower body that I wanted. And you guys recommended me to increase my calories, build the body I wanted through Muscle Mommy. So this is my check-in for, I completed that. So I can read off my stats and I'm really proud of what I accomplished. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, right.
And then if it's okay, I want to share my biggest win with you, which is actually a little bit of a qualitative story. So,
All right.
So when I called in at the end of March, my weight was 132 to 134. And I was eating 2,200 calories and I wanted to build my lower body. So through increasing my calories, I went up to 2,400 in April and May and got to 2,550 to 2,600 so far in June. My weight is now 135 to 136. I'm still eating 150 to 160 of protein. My waist stayed the same, and my hips increased an inch. My glutes got an inch bigger, so I was proud of myself for that. And I had a lot of fun because I'd never done 5x5s before. I'd always trained like with a little bit lower weight and higher reps. So I got my squat from 80 in 3x15 to 100 by the end of phase 2, and then 135.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and my deadlifts, RDLs went from 100 to 160 with my sumo squat, sumo deadlift, and I increased my hip thrust from 150 to 210.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at you. Awesome.
Yeah, it was really. I had so much fun. Like in the past have just been concerned about, the wrong stuff. So it was really fun to work on getting stronger. But the story I'm most kind of proud in a silly way to tell you is embarrassingly, like over the last 2 years, as I've been working on my fitness journey, I felt like I would reach my goal when somebody told me I looked like I worked out. I just wanted somebody to tell me like, oh, you look like you work out. And 2 weeks ago, I was driving in the car with my kids. I homeschool, so we drive around to different activities quite a lot. And I feel like we have our best conversations in the car. And my 10-year-old son is getting to the point where he doesn't quite think I'm cool anymore. But we were driving home from a birthday party and he got a bookmark in his loot bag and it had a picture of this woman superhero on it. And he said, Mom, this person looks like you.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like, really? And I looked at it and she looked like nothing like me at all. He's like, yeah. I was like, well, how so? He said, she's strong.
That's wonderful.
And so I finally realized that the positive feedback I was looking for was actually coming from my 10-year-old son. So anyways, so I'm writing back in because I wanted to ask you guys, I'm like so bought in and I'm so motivated to continue to work hard over the next 6 months and just get stronger and see my body continue to change. So I wanted to ask you guys, if you were coaching me for the next 6 months, what would your roadmap look like for me? Like what progression would you recommend after Muscle Mommy? Should I stay at my current calories or continue to increase? What's like the highest leverage changes you think I could make or continue to do to just continue on the happy train that I'm on right now?
Because you mentioned that you really hadn't done any like 5x5, and that was your real first experience. There's two things that come to mind right away. Either one, you could totally run Muscle Mommy again. Mm-hmm. I think you would be a great candidate for someone just to run it right back and probably even bump your calories another 100, 200 more calories, keep going in the direction you're going. Or if you're interested in trying something like a power lift, MAPS Power Lift would be a really good program, or MAPS Strong. A lot of our female clients love MAPS Strong. It's a lot of posterior chain focus, so a lot of glute, a lot of hamstring. So if you like stuff like that and you want to continue to develop the lower body, those are two great options. But you could totally just run back what you just did, because that was so fresh and new for you. That's the first time I'm really doing it in a calorie surplus. It's the first time running 5x5. The only other way I would push you in a different direction was if you gave me feedback of tightness or pain or anything going on with your body like that you have, or imbalances. If you don't feel imbalanced, you don't feel any joint pain, you don't have any issues like that, then I would stay the course you're doing right now.
So I'm going to encourage you by telling you something that you could have done better. And this is going to be encouraging, okay? So when I scroll, Doug, we scroll up to our stats again, because I want to point something out here. So your weight barely changed. So 132, 134 to 135, 136. Like, it barely changed. But you gained an inch around your hips and your waist stayed the same. This tells me that you actually got leaner while you built some muscle.
Yeah.
Which tells me that your calorie bump wasn't enough.
Could have went higher.
You would have got stronger and seen even more muscle gains if your calories are closer to 2,700. Okay. Now this is encouraging, by the way. Now I get it. When people reverse diet, it gets a little apprehensive. They don't want to go too fast. I'm afraid of whatever. And you made phenomenal progress. But this is encouraging because I'm like, oh my gosh, we got some.
There's still room there.
Yeah, you're like at the beginning of the upward slope of progress. Like, we bump your calories again, go to MAPS Powerlift, you're going to see some crazy gains. Yeah. I mean, your strength gains were amazing. You're going to see that again. Yep. Which is going to be even crazier, because going from 80 to 135 squat, going from 135 to 170 squat, you're going to see some crazy muscle gains in your lower body. So there's two ways we could approach this, and it really depends on how. And you sound very motivated, which is why I'm going to present this to you. You could follow MAPS Powerlift, bump your calories again. I'd go up to 2,650, 2,700, and have some fun with it. Option two, if you really want to have a good time, we'd actually hire a coach who could take you through the whole 6-month process and work with you every single month and modify and change as you go along. Because what may happen, which is what I'm going to suspect if I was working with you, I think we got a lot of room in your metabolism. I think if we bump you up to 2,650, probably within 3 weeks, I'm like, we're going up again. And then again, we're going up again. And you may be one of those people that gets up to 3,000 calories, doesn't really gain much body fat, and just builds crazy muscle and a metabolism that gives you ridiculous flexibility. So those are the two routes that I would go.
So I've worked with a coach before. We talked about it last time. She was actually really, really great. So I did really enjoy the process. And actually the only reason that I stopped working with her was that I decided to sign my kids up for a homeschool program that then I paid for instead of paying for coaching for myself. So it's a potential, but I think it would depend on what the cost is, because my kids are thriving in the environment that they're in now. So I can't pull them out just from my own personal needs. But I have a question about strong and about powerlift. Mm-hmm. So when in phase 3 of Muscle Mommy, when I was doing the overhead push press the first week, I had never worked with, so I only just started working barbell in February, and I had only been using it for lower body lifts. So when I was using it for upper body, I noticed it's a skill I'm not used to. And so when I was doing the push press, I kind of tweaked my left shoulder a little bit, and it was causing me some issues. So I didn't push press for the rest of phase 3. I just did regular dumbbell overhead presses because I felt like it was more comfortable on my shoulder. So I think I'm a little bit hesitant to try to lift a lot of weight overhead with a barbell.
No, you don't have to. Yeah, that's a perfectly fine modification. Yeah, you will be bench pressing, in power.
Okay, that was fine.
Yeah. You're going to be bench pressing in power lift.
Yeah, overhead isn't a big, emphasis in that program. So, I mean, besides just your regular, it's not going to be a push press.
I really like even more now putting you in powerlift based off what you just told me too, that this is your introduction to barbell lifting. It's the ultimate, like if someone wanted to learn how to use the barbell,
That's the one.
It's the powerlift is the training program I'd put them on. And it's going to get you good and proficient at that. And you getting really proficient at those core lifts with the barbell is going to get you really strong, which is then going to carry over to the results that you want.
How long ago did you go up to 2550 with your calories?
April, May.
No, that was 24.
2 weeks ago. It was around the beginning of June. They were trending up, but yeah, more consistently 2 weeks.
Yeah, I like going up 150 a day. It's not a ton, so nothing to worry about. 2700 maps power lift. I think you're going to be blown away.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have two more questions, if that's okay.
Sure.
What strength benchmarks would you have in mind for me, like to evaluate kind of whether the plan is working? Because I'm new, I've seen progression in all of my lifts every week. And so I'm kind of used to that, and I know that will slow down.
Yeah.
So what?
Any strength gain is positive.
Yeah, don't get caught in the trap.
Don't do that to yourself. I would never give you a number like that and potentially set you up for being let down for something that could be great still. Like getting stronger anywhere is positive.
Yeah. So I would expect slower strength gains, but you've only been doing this for 90 days with the barbell.
Yeah.
You've got yourself some more consistent strength gains coming up.
Yeah.
So you're still going to see some pretty good consistent strength gains. I wouldn't expect a gain every week.
Yeah,
don't get caught up in that. But I think by the end of the program, you're going to see some clear number differences.
And we say don't expect it, but that could happen.
It could.
I mean, you're somebody who is not proficient in barbell lifting and is just really getting good at it. That alone they will get. And then if you also give that person a calorie surplus,
that's right,
and they're dialed in everywhere else, oh my God, you absolutely could keep getting stronger like that. Yeah. But none of us would ever say that to you, because if all of a sudden you had a week where you're like, hey, I didn't get stronger this week. Am I not doing good? It's like, no, that doesn't mean you're not doing good. You're doing great,
Totally. And I'm just like, the reason why I said that, and I think you're okay with this because of what you told me about your overhead press, is if you get carried away with having to add weight to the bar and you start to ignore little nagging, kind of pain and stuff. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Like make sure your form and technique, but it sounds like you're really good with your technique and you pay close attention.
Yeah, and this is part of the process too. Like when you start really moving the weight fast, that's a whole nother skill. And I think that this is a great process for you to then really adapt to barbell training, get strong, get consistent with that and be able to stabilize it properly and adjust. And, from there, then we can look at stuff like, okay, we can get into like moving the barbell a little faster and like some lifts that will complement that. And then your body will respond at another level with that. So this is a great time for you to really just adapt to the barbell.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if you gained a few pounds of muscle by the end of mass power lift, like 3-4 pounds of muscle, I think would be, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
Yeah, that sounds pretty exciting, actually.
Yeah, you're on a great path.
Okay, can you still hear me?
Yes.
A little bit. You're breaking up a little bit. We can hear you.
Hello?
Yep, we can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Okay. So I can hear you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We're delayed. That's what it is.
Okay. My last question was just about. Okay. Hello?
We can hear you. We're just delayed.
Say it really fast.
You want to reconnect, Doug? Maybe you can reconnect.
Oh.
Okay. I'll just ask my question then, and then I'll see. I'll listen to it when your answer comes through. My last question was, I've heard you guys talk about the concierge coaching, which would be like a once a month check-in thing. And I'm pretty dedicated. I'm really good at following through on plans. Do you think that might be something that could benefit me as I continue to progress through?
That's what I was going to suggest.
I think that's what Sal was suggesting, is that
that's right.
That's what would be perfect for you, because you're already doing great on your own. Mm-hmm. Just having someone to check in and make modifications once a month would be perfect for you.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay, great.
Spitball with
I
her.
used to work as a nurse, so I love data. I love seeing how the body responds and like tracking data and doing all of that stuff. So to have somebody coach me through the process, like, and then I can follow through for a month and check back in.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Interpret all that for you.
We'll have somebody call you and set that up. That's ideal for you. That's what Sal was suggesting right there. That's perfect.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. I had so much fun, and I would have never done this if you guys hadn't suggested it. I would have just kept spinning the hamster wheel. And so I'm super happy, and just, yeah, my mood, my energy, my like outlook. I feel like I have so much more to give to the world now. So thank you so much.
Beautiful.
You got it.
That's
and I'm
exciting.
just going to encourage you. It's going to get better.
Yeah,
You're
it
at the beginning.
It's gonna continue to get better.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm excited for
I'm
you.
excited.
Yeah, excited for you and your coach. You guys are gonna do great.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing, like you guys, but the coaches in general don't realize that what they're doing is that people who get stuck in this spot, they dedicate so much of their brain space to focusing on fitness and like meeting their goals and how much they're eating and all this stuff. And it's taking away from all of the gifts that we're given to give the world. So you guys free up space for people when you get them in these I don't know if I'm making sense, but you've freed up space for me to be a better person.
That's
So
it. That's
thank you.
you actually summed it up really well.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. All right. Thanks, guys.
You got it.
Take care.
Okay. Bye.
Yeah, when I looked at her stats, weight barely changed, waist didn't change, hips went up an inch. She actually lost some body
Yeah.
fat and built some muscle.
Yeah.
She's in that perfect sweet spot.
And just so people, this is what women will freak out over this. But let's say you're in this process, you're trying to build, and you do gain a little bit of body fat because you might through a surplus. And let's say your waist goes from 26 to 26 and a half, but your hips go from 38 and a half to 40 or 40 and a half.
That's muscle.
The ratio,
Yeah.
you actually look like you have a smaller waist because
Yeah.
people freak out. Oh, my waist grew a little bit. That might happen a little bit in a surplus, especially if you're kind of lean.
Yeah.
But if you built more muscle, you look better. And then you got more metabolic flexibility.
Yeah, what it highlighted was she could have jumped right to where she's at now from the jump.
Totally.
And maybe we'd be up even higher calories. Maybe we would, but sometimes it worked out great because this is new to her, and so
Eased her in.
Yeah, eased her in nicely. Now she's bought it. Now you can
she's
tell her
ramping up
go to
for
29,
sure.
and she'd be like, "Okay, I trust you."
That's right.
So sometimes it's okay to take someone slow like this because it gets buy-in and that trust, and then now they're like, "Okay, I get what we're
She's
doing."
all
now.
in.
Yeah.
Our next caller is Ben from New Hampshire.
What's up, Ben?
What's happening, dude?
How you doing,
Hey, how you
Ben?
guys doing?
Good. How can we help
Good.
you?
First of all, I just want to say I love your show. I'm super consistent whenever I listen to you guys regularly. I've been listening for about 3 years now, and you helped me make some great gains.
Thanks.
On.
Yeah, so to get into my question, I've kind of always been that skinny kid. Growing up, went to college I'm 6'2". I was like 150 entering college. Really hit the gym, hit that unlimited meal plan, was bulking up. Made some really good gains, especially in the last couple of years. I'm up to 230 now. And so I'm thinking it's finally time for me to start cutting a bit. I've really never tried to do a dedicated cut in my life. So before I really dove into it, I wanted your advice. How should I start? I want to make sure I'm not losing too much weight, and whatever your advice is.
Yeah, good.
Start with so you've been listening to the podcast for a long time?
Yep.
Have you heard Sal and I talk about this challenge? Because this was us, right? Skinny guy trying to gain weight our whole life.
Yep.
And how the most challenging part for you will be the psychological part.
Exactly.
Because in your head you're still the skinny kid who's trying to get big, and then when you start to cut to get shredded, and you're going to think you're losing muscle when you're probably not. So I just want to start with that before we get into the do this, do that type of stuff, is like, know that there's going to be a period where you're going to be like, I'm definitely losing muscle. This is not working. And you're going to want to bail. And I just want to encourage you to see it all the way through. You can always get it all back. It's real easy to put that weight. Once you've gotten to this point weight wise, it's easy to get it back. And so just see it all the way through. I had to tell myself that I'm just committed to going this way, but I still believed I was losing muscle all the way there. Even though I knew better, I still believe that. And you just have to trust the process. So I just want to start with that before.
That's the big one.
Yeah.
That's the big one. So I'm reading the rest of your email. This is going to be kind of simple. This will be a simple cut for you. The hard part's with what Adam said, but what we can do is actually very simple, and you'll see yourself lean out real nice. You'll stay strong. You might even build some muscle through this process. And here's what it's going to look like, because I see here that you eat out pretty regularly, and there may be some other habits there that you could probably clean up because you've never really worried about being too heavy. And literally, it just looks like this. Clean up your diet. Yeah. And what does that look like specifically? Whole natural foods.
Yeah, prep your meals.
That's it. Hit whole natural foods. Hit 220 grams of protein a day that you are getting from whole natural foods. If you just do that, you'll get leaner. Yep, you'll get leaner consistently.
And still eat when you're hungry, but just make the whole food choices.
Done.
Not eating out, because eating out will mess up that signal and you'll overeat. But if you eat whole foods, I bet it'll naturally drop your calories 500-700 calories.
Yeah,
a day.
and you hit your protein, like 220 a day consistently, whole natural foods, you'll be great.
Yeah.
By the way, when I do this, because I eat pretty healthy most of the time, but if I switch from eating out to eating what I make, I drop 2% without even trying.
Yeah,
it just comes off, and I'm already sitting kind of lean, so this is easy. So I would get rid of like any liquid calories that you have, so sodas or anything like that. I'd get rid of like garbage, snacking, that kind of stuff, and eating out. And you just do that for like 2 or 3 months, and you'll see yourself get leaner.
I would a good idea while you're doing this, if you want to like continue going down this path, because I think that'll take you easy the first 4 or 5%. I think you'll get 4 or 5% leaner just doing that, like relatively easy. And then if you track the calories while you're doing that, so you kind of know where you're at, then to keep that progress going after a month or two and you start to slow down a little bit, you just reduce the calories by 500 or increase steps and activity. And then I'll just keep it going another month or two.
Yeah. Do you know how many grams of protein you're eating a day right now? Do you track anything?
Yeah, so that's really the only thing I do track. And I kind of do it more like mental math at the end of the day rather than entering something into an app. I just don't love tracking all the time. But I usually make sure if I'm not at like 180 by the end of the day, I'll add in a protein shake. So I make sure I'm usually always up to that like 220.
I'm gonna make a little prediction here, Ben, because it's kind of loose with how you're doing it. When you prep, it's very consistent because you know what you're making.
Yep.
You know what you're making. So I bet if you consistently, just through your own prep, hit 220 grams of protein every single day, clean up your diet, I bet you'll get. I bet you won't have to do anything else. Yeah, I bet you'll slowly
that's the formula.
get a physique that looks more muscular just through getting leaner, and you might even build.
Yeah, the hardest part will be staying consistent with it and then trusting that you're not losing muscle. Because what will happen is it'll put you in a calorie deficit right away, okay? And so that'll already put you, but that'll also pull that glycogen out of that muscle, which will make your muscles look a little bit flatter and smaller, and that will mess with your head. But you didn't lose muscle. It's just they're depleted. They're depleted, and now you're cutting into fat storage, which is where you want to be to lean out. So just get that out of your head that you look worse or you don't like it. Like accept it and just keep going, and then you'll see you're gonna lean out just fine just by simply making your meals.
It's gonna be all based on your own consistency with what we're saying.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, whether this goes fast or this takes you a long time will be how consistently you do what we're saying.
Now on the psychology part and like for how fast should I be weighing myself?
No.
Once a week, once a day.
If you want once a week, if you want once a week, but honestly, if you're consistent with what we just said, I think if you don't weigh yourself, you're better.
Yeah.
You'll see it in the mirror, dude. Right. You'll work out, you'll take your shirt off and be like, huh.
What's your daily activity? What do you do for work?
Work, I sit a lot. I do try to get outside. I've already got 3 walks in today. So I probably get around 7,000, 8,000 steps a day. I hike a lot too, so sometimes on a weekend I'll go do a 10-mile hike like it's nothing. So that's another question. I usually typically eat more on days where I do a 10-mile hike. Do you suggest trying to keep those calories high?
If the advice is literally, if you're making your meals and you're hungry, eat
more of it.
Yep, eat more of those.
Don't do this, because this is sometimes what happens when people do like a long hike. Is they'll do a long hike, then they'll go eat out and eat garbage.
Yeah, don't do that.
Which is probably what you do. Most people do that. So
absolutely.
Yeah, if you cut that out and just it's what you made and you just eat a big portion of it, you're fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine that way. Okay. Another, are you familiar with the Concierge program that we do?
No.
You might be a great candidate for that. Is you meet once a month with a coach, and so they're making subtle tweaks, and so like as you have questions through it, like as you're going, and then they'll just tweak the program or tweak the diet as you're going through. If that's something that interests you, I can have somebody call you and they can talk to you about what that would look like, because you sound like you kind of know what you're doing. You've been good. You've been tracking. So this is now the advice we're giving you is great. It's just having somebody who's gonna customize it to you every single month. If that's something you're interested in, I'll have somebody call you.
That sounds perfect.
Okay, cool. Cool, yeah. That's you're gonna do great, dude. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Ben. Keep it up.
All right, Ben.
Appreciate it.
Right. Peace.
When I went from just eating as much as I could, and a lot of it was garbage, to tracking protein and going whole natural, I got leaner, but I also built muscle.
Yeah.
So I was like eating a lot of calories, but my protein wasn't high enough.
Well, that's always what happens. It's still to this day, I'm that way.
Yeah.
It's just naturally when I find it very rare that somebody who isn't like tracking or making their foods consistently hits protein.
No.
What they do is
It's like what he said. He guesses, and then he adds a shake.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what ends up really happening when you start tracking, you realize like, oh shit, I was under eating protein and I was over consuming these other foods. And simply just making your meals and making sure you hit that protein kind of just balances everything out nicely.
Our next caller is Liz from New York.
Hi, Liz.
How you doing, Liz?
Good morning.
This is so cool.
How can we help you?
Okay, so I am a very long time listener of the show. I've been listening to you guys since 2017. So
All right.
God bless you.
I was there through it all.
Yeah, you hung in there.
You've
right
been on
on.
a journey.
After finding you guys in the middle of my fitness journey, you really gave me direction. You helped with a lot of my form, and become really well-versed in a variety of exercises. So really appreciate everything I've learned through following you guys and all of your programs. So my question, I'll start off with the general gist. I wrote in wondering, how would Mind Pump coach a woman to work out to optimize their health and lower stress while trying to get pregnant? So I can delve into a little bit more about myself. I was married to my husband in October, and we just decided that we want to start our family. So to talk a little bit more about what I do, I'm 5'5", probably about 135, guessing on the body fat might be like 26%. I made a switch about 3 years ago from working out on my own. I had run aesthetic and then strong, and then I started a HIIT strength style class. Generally, I would do about 4 to 6 HIIT classes a week, a couple cycling classes, ran about 20 to 24 miles, and I average about 20,000 steps a day.
Wow.
So very active.
Yeah, you can see that.
Don't eat a lot during the day. Generally would have, you could say, kind of an OMAD diet, do like a small breakfast and then one big meal. There's nothing outwardly off or anything in terms of hormones, doctors and obviously my friends and family who are less into the fitness world just think it's all great. But I'm curious what your thoughts are in terms of creating maybe a less optimal environment for trying to get pregnant.
Yeah.
That's
at present.
Are you still, that's present?
Yeah.
That's how you're.
So 2 weeks ago, I got told I have hamstring tendinopathy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've actually had to stop running.
Good.
And I had to stop the HIIT classes as well.
Liz,
so.
what do you think we're going to tell you?
Yeah, you've been listening to us for 70. I already, you know what we're going to say to you.
Yeah, but I want you to tell me.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Stop the running.
Yeah.
Probably stop the cycling. Switch to some slower form of strength training.
Yeah.
Eat more.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're on point.
I think that's the gist.
We're
of
done.
It.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
Prescription. No, so check it out. So here's the deal. Okay, it's much harder to get pregnant when there's a lot of stress being thrown at the body. It could be emotional stress. It could be physical stress, and you're doing a lot. You're doing a lot. I doubt your body fat percentage is at 26%, by the way.
You look leaner.
Yeah, you're probably in the low 20s, if not under. And so you're going to actually have to gain some weight, and you're going to have to really reduce your exercise. And I'm also going to challenge you like this and just present this to you, Liz. Pregnancy, first off, let me ask this. How important is this priority for you?
It's number one right now.
Okay. Okay, good. Because we're going to have to change a lot of things to make it happen. But I also want to let you know that during the pregnancy process, being pregnant, postpartum, for somebody that's so into fitness, it's very challenging. And so this is a great time to start to kind of make peace with it. Because when you're pregnant, it's going to feel like your body's not yours. After you have your baby, and what the hell, it's still not mine. And it's like 2 years later where you're like, I think I'm back type of deal. And for somebody who's so into fitness and in their body and knows how to perform and what their body's capable of, it's very, very challenging. Okay. But if you let go of it, it's not so challenging. But if you try to hold on to it, you're going to be in for a really bumpy ride. So it's going to look like this. This would be the strategy. You're going to need to gain weight, and you're going to need to stop working out a lot, like a lot.
Yeah, it should be like MAPS 15.
Yeah, basically your body needs to be like this wonderful, pleasant, like ready to host life environment. And I'm talking to you, right? If I was talking to somebody else, that might be different advice. But for you, it's MAPS 15, walking 10,000 steps a day, no more.
Wow.
And you got
bring the stress levels down.
and your goal is to gain 10 pounds before you get pregnant.
Yep.
Wow.
So bumping the calories. So going away from
Do you know
this
how many
one-
calories you're eating right
well,
now?
she's one meal a day, so you can't be higher than maybe 1,500 to 1,900 at the highest.
There's no way.
Yeah, I would say probably the morning it's like, I don't know, a 250 snack, maybe like something very small. And then it's just dinner. So probably, I would say probably around 1,500.
Yeah.
Overestimated.
So you're gonna eat a breakfast, you're gonna eat a lunch, and then you're gonna keep eating dinner. Follow MAPS 15. Don't let yourself go more than 10,000 steps a day, and that's it.
Now the beautiful part about this is if we reduce down to a MAPS 15 and you eat properly like that, she'll probably put some good muscle on too. Like your body will probably respond.
Yeah, but I'm just
You're gonna gain.
that's definitely
you'll
what's
gain
gonna happen.
good weight. Like
That's
it's
definitely
not-
what's going to happen. But I'm setting you up for gaining weight.
Yeah, it doesn't
The
matter.
mentality of
doesn't
it.
matter what weight. To be honest with you, at this
So
point,
I've had a few female clients like you who are like a couple of them were ex-athletes or just fitness fanatics, and we literally had to be like, we're going to gain body fat.
that was
That's how they got
Katrina.
pregnant.
Katrina was that. And by the way, Katrina did not feel lean. That was the hardest part for her. Was she's like, I don't feel like I'm lean at
She had
all.
to purposely gain body fat.
And the doctor's like, you need to put on body fat, and she's like, this is so weird to me. This is not lean me at all. And so yeah, we had to stop a lot of the training and really reduce it, and eating cheeseburgers and doing things to put on body fat. And so that's what we had to do before she got pregnant. And she did not feel lean at all. And being honest, like seeing her, I didn't look at her and go like, oh, she's way too lean. Even with all my experience, I didn't look at her and go, oh, she looks way lean. But that it's just to highlight the point you're making that, you know, it's amazing what you have to allow your body to do to allow a life to come in there. Like if you're going to grow a life in you have to be in this environment that is calm and not stressed and has a good amount of body fat on it. And then the baby will feel like I can grow in this optimum environment. And if it doesn't, if it's stress and all those things we're doing, HIIT, running, cycling, those are all stresses.
Lots of steps.
And then doing it in a low calorie environment, it just exacerbates all of it. And so no baby's going to want to grow in that environment.
Tough.
So
yeah, and by the way, there's always, of course, there could be lots of different reasons why this is a challenge. But you did say cycle is regular, hormones look good, and so this just seems seems pretty clear. And the amount of working out you're doing, Liz, is crazy. Like you're doing a lot.
Yeah.
Like that's.
I knew that deep down. I needed you guys to tell me.
But and here's the deal. I'm going to help you. I'm going to encourage you some more. Give what we're saying 3 months, because here's what sometimes a person will do, is they'll listen, they'll try it for a month, didn't work.
Yep.
No, give it a good 3 months before you go back to the fertility doctor and say, okay, let's look deeper, because I cut all these things down, I increased my calories, and now I want to see if there's another issue. But give it a good 3 months of a shot.
Well, I don't know where you're at personally in your financial situation, but I would really push you to get with one of our coaches, just because of how difficult this can be.
I am worried about my adherence because I do.
Yeah. This is not easy. It's and it's not an X's and O's hard, right? Like I don't think it's like you don't understand when I say do this or do that. It's the psychological piece and having somebody remind you, Liz, you're doing great. Stay the course. And so if you're open to that, I would like you to work with one of our coaches.
Yeah, I would definitely love to, at least talk and
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll have someone call you after we get off and then present to you what that would look like. But I think that would be, if this is a serious priority to you, and it is the number one priority, I think it'll be more than a worthwhile investment is to do this. And you don't need it forever. It's to get through this process, get you pregnant, and then you're good.
Either way, you're going to get MAPS 15.
Yeah.
And then if it works, will you please let us know and message us?
Yeah.
Yep.
We like.
You'll be the second to know.
Yeah.
Husband, mine.
Awesome.
All right, Liz. We'll have someone call you.
Thank you.
Looking forward to when you get pregnant.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You got it.
Let's-
All right.
Yes, that's a lot. She was doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Running, 20,000 steps,
Getting
HIIT
after it,
classes,
man.
lifting.
Yeah,
like,
for real.
dude.
You know, it highlights.
But no,
too.
by the way, that'll damage a man's fertility too. It's just not as sensitive. A man's fertility is not as sensitive.
Well, you know, it's tough
Yeah.
when you take someone like that, especially when all her markers aren't showing it yet. You know, it shows you how resilient the body can be sometimes.
Oh, I know.
You know, but
You'd think her hormones would be, taking
I mean, she's only 32. She's still young. She's still young
Yeah.
and still resilient. You keep going down that path.
I literally had a client, and this isn't necessarily the advice that I would give people, but for this client, it was appropriate. She was getting her cycle, hormones look good, ex-athlete. We reduced her activity. 2 months later, it's not happening. She's working with a fertility doctor. She's like, I don't want to do all the fertility stuff. And I'm like, you got to get fat. She's like, what? I'm like, you got to start eating some burgers and stuff.
I know.
And so she did. She started eating because she just wasn't eating enough. She wasn't, and so she started eating more that kind of stuff. And boom, got pregnant.
What's crazy, Sal, is that you're saying that, and I'm telling you, this is what Katrina was not eating a super low calorie.
Yeah.
I didn't look at her and think she looked really lean, like too lean.
But she had to purposely go try to
But
gain
she
body
had to purposely go gain body fat.
Yeah.
And we had to go out and do that. And
needs to be all that reserve.
And it, you know, it was such a good experience for me to see that firsthand in my wife, because I can only imagine if you're somebody who doesn't feel like I'm not lean, I don't feel lean, you know, and I'm already eating good amount of calories. I don't. And Katrina doesn't train like that. It's not overtrained, and so it's like why? But it's like you just need to be at an even higher body fat.
Your body has to sense that you're in this plenty. That there's plenty.
And that it's a spectrum. Not everybody's the same.
That's right.
Some people need to be at an even higher body fat percentage than other people. Some people get pregnant
at 20 or 21.
Yeah, but some people need to be in the mid to high 20s. For that to happen.
That's usually my experience with
Yeah.
these people. Yeah. All right. I know you liked that episode. If you did, check this one out. How strong should you be? Ever wonder if you're actually strong, or at least compared to people like yourself? Today's episode, we're going to talk about that, and we're going to help you determine how strong you should be, and also talk about the steps to getting strong as fast as possible. In fact, we're going to talk about the fastest way to get bigger and stronger all at the same time.
I know keeps Adam up at night.
Yes, it does, actually. And I know that you wrote a really complex episode here, but I think Justin's metric has been the one